And the U.S. State Department slashing hundreds of millions of dollars in aid to the Palestinians. Everything has been cut. Aid to hospitals, to schools, to refugee camps, to social services, PA government operations, even interfaith dialogue programs that exist to bring Israelis and Palestinians together to learn reconciliation, coexistence, and dialogue. One of those groups impacted, the Parents Circle Families Forum, which is headed up by Robi Damelin, who joins us now in studio. Robi, thanks for being with us. For those who don't know, explain what is the Parents Circle Families Forum? What do you do? And personally, why do you do it?
That's a long question. The Parents Circle is made up of more than 600 families, Palestinian and Israeli, who've all lost a loved one during the conflict. We work for reconciliation because what we believe is any future peace agreement that is signed must have a clause for a reconciliation process. Otherwise, at best, it's another ceasefire until the next time. So all the work that we are doing on the ground is really geared towards that. We work in schools where a Palestinian and Israeli go into a classroom. An average Israeli classroom of kids of 17 have never met a Palestinian in their lives. So this whole new idea of cutting us off completely from each other, what is that supposed to mean? Do we bring the Palestinians to their knees and hope that that's the way we can force peace upon them? You can't force people to come to peace. It's immoral. So I don't understand the purpose of all of this. Our work is, the message is international. We've been invited by Congress several times to come and speak. We launched a project in Congress where both sides of the House came to this launching.
And the slashing of aid in recent weeks and months, hundreds of millions of dollars, including to, is your organization personally impacted by that? Are you losing money that transfers these students to bring them to schools, to have these kinds of dialogue events? Are you losing money?
We will start losing money from 2019. In the meantime, there are projects that we are doing, like a parallel narrative project, which is still, the money is still guaranteed that it will come. But when one starts to think of the future, and when I think of USAID, how they've helped us over the years and supported our work, without their assistance, I don't think we would be anywhere where we are today. We have more than 1,000 alumni from a project that they support. So I can't begin to understand. I would love to invite Mr. Jason Greenblatt and Kushner to actually come and meet the thousands and thousands of people who created a sense of empathy.
Robi, on that point, Jared Kushner himself, Trump's son-in-law, but senior Middle East advisor, he sat down for an interview with the New York Times. He said, yes, this is punitive. We are punishing the Palestinians, but for a purpose. They're taking our aid for granted. They're not becoming independent on their own. They're dependent on our aid, and they refuse to engage us in dialogue. They refuse to come to the table. And this is a way to get them to talk to us again. Do you agree that with Kushner's approach, it's tough, but it could work?
I don't think it can work because I think they don't understand who the Palestinian people are. You know, you cannot adapt your culture and your sense of values into another culture and think that you know that it's going to work. People have pride. People need to be treated with respect. And I don't think that this is punitive. I think it's idiotic, you'll excuse my expression. Because how can you cut us off? How can there ever be peace here? You can force people not to do anything, but in the long run, they will rise up against you. You can't do that.
Next year, you mentioned some of these programs and these services that you do at the Parents Circle Families Forum will be cut. What's the damage if Israelis don't get ever a chance to meet a Palestinian or vice versa? They never, sometimes literally, sometimes figuratively, break bread together in their lives. How important is that?
Well, if you think about it, what would the attitude be if you didn't know who I was? You would probably be a little fearful, and maybe you would start to resent and hate me, and that creates violence. And this cutoff, that's what it creates. If you don't know who's on the other side, you will fear them. And this whole conflict has such an element of fear about it, of the other, of not knowing who they are, and everything we do. To take nearly 1,000 alumni to Yad Vashem, to the Holocaust Museum, and to see the reaction of Palestinians who never understood that part and the empathy that's created, or to go to a village that was once Palestine and now is in Israel and there's nothing left of it, and to recognize with empathy the mother that's walking around with the key to a door that will never open. And when you can show her that empathy, then maybe we can move on. But you cannot ignore each other. There can't be peace on one side. You can't force me to forgive you. That's immoral.
There has to be dialogue and
Of
reconciliation.
course.
Robi Damelin with the Parent Circle Families Forum. More information online about the important work that they do, that she does personally, dedicating her life to this life's mission. Thank you so much, Robi.